So, what really happens when the price of oil skyrockets to $120 a barrel? I mean, it's not just some number you see on the news. It's actually a shockwave that rips through the entire economy and lands right in your wallet. Let's trace exactly how that happens.
First things first, you feel it at the pump. All of a sudden, petrol is 120 rupees a liter. Yep, that's the first and most obvious punch.
Next, you go to book a flight, and wow, the prices are through the roof. You see, aviation fuel is a massive cost for airlines, and they don't just absorb it. They pass that cost straight on to you. And just to top it all off, you check your investment portfolio, and it's a sea of red. It feels like your hard-earned money is just evaporating.
And the crazy part is, all of this seems to happen at once. This isn't some slow, gradual change. It's a powerful chain reaction. And once it kicks off, it is incredibly hard to stop. So how does one single number cause so much chaos? Let's break it down.
Okay, so this whole story starts with one of India's biggest economic vulnerabilities. We have a critical dependency, a choke point that makes us extremely sensitive to what happens in global energy markets.
Just look at this number, 85%. That is staggering. That's how much of the oil India uses is imported. We just don't produce enough ourselves, which, leaves us completely at the mercy of global prices.
And here's where all that risk gets concentrated. Nearly half of all that imported oil has to pass through one single, narrow strip of water, the Strait of Hormuz. It is a huge geopolitical choke point. Any disruption there, any instability, and boom, the shockwave hits India almost instantly. So now that we see the weak spot, let's look at how a price spike sets off this incredible cascade of economic consequences. It really is like a series of dominoes, with each one knocking over the next. All right, here's how the dominoes fall. First, the price of oil shoots up. That means India has to spend way more US dollars to buy the same amount of oil. This huge demand for dollars weakens the rupee. Now, with a weaker rupee, everything else we import gets more expensive, not just oil. So businesses start paying more for transport and materials, and of course, they pass those costs on to us by raising prices. That's inflation kicking in. And to fight that, the RBI steps in and raises interest rates, which makes all kinds of loans more expensive for everyone.
But beyond all that economic jargon, there's a really personal consequence to all this that most people completely miss. It's not just about prices going up. It's something much deeper.
And here it is. This is the real heart of the problem. For most of us, our salary stays the same, but the cost of, everything, your food, your rent, your travel, it all goes up. Your money just can't buy as much as it used to. Exactly, it's a silent reduction of your purchasing power. Your wealth is literally being eroded, day by day, without you even spending an extra rupee. That is the real shock of a $120 oil price. Now, while all this is happening to your wallet, the broader market is already reacting, often way before you even feel the pinch. And you have to remember, in a crisis, money doesn't just disappear, it moves. So you've got sectors that depend heavily on oil, and they feel the pressure immediately. Aviation, with its massive fuel bills, gets hit hard. FMCG companies see their transportation costs just explode. And companies that make paints, which actually use crude oil derivatives, see their profits get squeezed. And of course, investors see this coming a mile away, and stock prices react long before the damage shows up in an earnings report. But here's the thing, it's not bad news for everyone. This situation creates a great divide in the market. While airlines and logistics companies are suffering, who's winning? Well, the companies that actually produce and sell the oil, the energy exporters. Their revenues are skyrocketing. Wealth isn't being destroyed, it's just being transferred from one pocket to another. And this brings us to the final and maybe most crucial insight. When you're faced with this kind of volatility, how you react makes all the difference. It really boils down to one thing. The difference between panicking and observing. Let's be honest, the default reaction for most people when they see their investments falling and prices rising is to panic. But smart money, it behaves very differently. They take a step back, and they simply observe the whole chain reaction that we've just talked about. So instead of obsessing over what's falling, they're tracking where the money is flowing to. They understand the connections between oil prices, the rupee, and inflation. They're looking for strong companies that can actually pass on higher costs to customers. And believe it or not, they're looking for opportunities that are always created by this kind of market stress. They're watching the entire board, not just their own pieces.
So when you put this all together, you realize that the most important question to ask isn't, will oil hit $120?
The real question is, are you ready when it does? Because in our interconnected world, it's really not a matter of if anymore, but when.